Oh, hello there. It is I, the one and only Crazy Idiot. And today, my little vlog of sorts is a weird one because I was cleaning the garage right now just before I go to bed. I was just cleaning it up a little bit. And I found, of course, the legendary family cable box. These are all the cables that I'm going to sort through tonight. Try to clean up, make it tidy. Try to sort them back neatly in the box. Eventually I'll have to get some hooks to like hang them up and sort by and stuff, but that's for another time. Now there's a lot of cables in use already throughout this room, between RCA cables to my TV for my VCR and my HDMI video converter, or, well, it's more like RCA to HDMI video definition upscaler, but I digress. Point is, there's a lot of cables in use already, a lot of HDMI cables, a lot of power cables, so this is mostly what's left over, which is still a lot. And this is a cable box that my dad has kind of had for a long time, and this first big one that I pull out is this 5-pin, is what it's called? Pin? I don't know. But it's a 5-pin component cable where you've got the red, blue, green, which then obviously gets compressed to yellow, and then the red and white for audio. And it's very cool. It's male to male, both ends. So that's a really nice thing. I'm going to put them over here on the video cable area. Now the problem is that they're all tangled up a bit for the most part. This thing is something that I was given when I first built my PC. It was the cable for my monitor at the time. It has this very strange something else to HDMI, and the reason I don't use it anymore is because it's slightly dented on the end there, and a couple of the pins as a result are misaligned, and so I had to remove it. I think I could still use a VGA cable though. Yeah. This USB cable is really weird. I don't know what it's used for. It's USB Type A to something else. It's like a very tiny symmetrical rectangle, but it's not Type C. It's something else. Looks like it has teeth on the inside. Don't know what it's for, but I'm going to put it over here with all the other USB cables. Should probably just get these out of the way. This red one, and subsequently the blue one that will follow soon enough, both of them are Ethernet cables, which is something we've never really had a use for because we've always lived pretty much off of Wi-Fi routers and boxes, and there's no exact convenient way to route the Ethernet to any one of our computers because it kind of sits in the center of the house where no computers really reside. Should probably kind of wrap this properly. The reason really why I'm making this video is A, because I'm bored, but B, because there's a great number of people in the upcoming generation that don't seem to have a clue what any of these cables mean, and so in an effort to basically help people understand what these do, to the best of my knowledge as a later half of Gen Z tech user, I thought it would be best to explain a lot of this stuff. So this Ethernet cable is basically a direct port from your router to your computer itself, or whatever device that has Ethernet in it. Could be your game console, could be your TV. I think most modern TVs now have Ethernet ports in them. And yeah, they're very nice. I don't have any zip ties for any of these things, but that's okay. I'll just set this one. Should probably try to tie it up a little bit. Maybe that would do it. I don't know. I'm going to set that one over here. Its blue counterpart will be added later. This is just a typical 3-pin power plug. You know, just the ground and the 2 pins, and then this plugs into most TVs and not most modern TVs any now, huh? But pretty much all computers, any PC boxes really. I'm gonna put the power cables over here. What else is in here that isn't tangled up at the moment? Okay, this cable, I genuinely don't have a clue what it does. It's USB to USB, but it's orange, and in the middle here is this presumably inseparable piece of something. I want to say it's a data transfer cable. There's writing on it. Maybe it'll tell me. CSA AWM 1/2 in Roman numerals, A 80 degrees Celsius 30V FTI. I am not entirely sure what that means. There's no other writing on here except the same thing on the other end of the cable. So I'm just going to put this with the USB cables since I really don't know what it does. Unfortunately, I don't know everything about the cable box. And that's something I would need my dad for, and he's asleep right now. Because he would know whatever is in here that I don't. This is obviously another RCA cable, however, it is just the audio side. So you have blue and red for the white and red, I guess. Although they say monster cable on the end because they're kind of beefy cable ends. So I'm going to put those over here with the video cables. This cable should just be a typical, yeah, okay. This is just a typical RCA, male, yellow, red, white, or yellow, white, red, or red, white, yellow, depending on how you orient your words in your mouth. And, yeah, pretty run-of-the-mill analog cable, I suppose. Pre-HDMI and all that. Another power cable, but strangely, it's a three-lined thing instead of just one big beefy cable. So I don't know what the significance of that is, if it helps power run smoother or something, but it serves the exact same function. So okay, so as I remove more and more cables from the box, the bottom becomes exposed, and I saw this thing right here. This is a 64 megabyte PNY compact flash memory card, where you write notes on the back of it, and here's a nice little graphic on the front. And this is a nice big card that you could plug into older computers, I guess, if they had the port. I'm actually fairly certain that this Windows 8 one doesn't have it, but this is basically a nice beefy memory card for an older camera. 64 megabytes. In modern picture taking, that would probably take up the space of maybe 20 pictures and, I don't know, a 30-second video, if you've got the definition set right. I'm going to set this right there. So this here is the blue Ethernet cable that I was referencing earlier. Please do pardon the noise. Because I live in the garage, I have to deal with the water filter noise, so unfortunately that's just going to have to be on the record, because I'm not waiting a whole 3 hours before those things turn off. So behold, we have another slightly pre-coiled, oh, it's got a zip tie, component cable. And this one is a lot beefier and looks a lot cooler to me than the first one, because the colors are way more distinct on this one. You've got the red and white on this side, and then the blue, green, red on this side. Very nice, very clear what the colors are. And yeah, male, both sides, obviously. So this cable, I believe, is plugging into the wall, and then on the other end it connects to the phone line. It doesn't have exactly what you would expect on the phone line end port, so I'm assuming it's a charger for some kind of strange device or something like that. I really can't tell what this is. It's a K-Tech AC adapter, Class 2 transformer, model number that's way too long to read, 24 volt output, AC power. Yeah, I'm not really sure what this is. I'm gonna put it in the pile of I don't know cables that has kind of started to form. Another power cable. VGA cable. So this is what you would plug your monitor into before HDMI and display ports and all that stuff. This was basically the most common port, I'm fairly certain, for monitors. It's got a big square here on the end to show that it's for monitors, I think. So I believe this would go with my video cables. I'll just put it there for the time being. Oh, look what we got here. A second VGA cable. Now this cable was given to me by the same guy who helped me build my computer. It's the same guy who gave me that first weird cable with the HDMI to that really weird port earlier. This is VGA to VGA, however, it's got an adapter on the end of it that adapts to DisplayPort. Right here, you see? So I'm going to put this in my video cable area for the off chance that I have a monitor with DisplayPort, I guess, or well, my computer has DisplayPorts on it. I just never use it. This is an interesting power cable. This is a 2-prong plug into this asymmetrical, like, charging port for, like, a camera battery charger, 7A, 125 volt, Risheng, something like that. I don't know. This is kind of a charger port to something that I don't know if we even have anymore, and I don't know what modern tech even takes it anymore, because the most common thing I see is this, but it's symmetrical, so it's got 2 rounds on both sides and maybe a little divot between the 2 holes. So, I don't know. I'm going to throw it in the power cables area. That doesn't seem right. All the power cables are the same. I'm going to put it in the I don't know pile. Alright, so typical USB-A to Type-B thing, I think. This is what you charge your PlayStation 4 controllers with, and what a lot of smartphones used to have before everything basically became USB-C. So, I think there's quite a few of them, so I'm going to put them in a pile of its own. Okay, so this was kind of what I was talking about earlier. So we got a 2-prong plug that plugs into the battery charger pack for an old little pink camera that we had. And the end of it is this symmetrical layout with a divot in the 2 holes and a rounded on both sides, as opposed to what I was talking about earlier with this thing. I don't know if the camera can pick it up that well, but if you can see the difference at all, there you have it. I'm going to put this camera charger in the I don't know pile because I don't even know if we still have that camera. I think it's like thrown away or something. I hope it's not, but it probably is. A 3rd VGA cable. This is a typical power cable that has somehow managed to stay wrapped inside a Ziploc bag. That's pretty cool. This one's interesting. So you got the RCA red and white, so audio left and right. That transfers into an 1/8 inch standard audio jack. So that's very cool. I don't know where I would put something like that. Did I have another audio cable laying around here earlier? I might have just thrown it in the pile with the video cables. It's an audio cable, and so far I think it's the only audio cable that I've unpacked or that's even in here. I'm going to put it in the video cable area, reluctantly. So this is yet another weird charger that I have. 2-prong cable, but this time, unlike both of the weird ones that I had before, it's kind of a mix of both. So it's got the 2 divots between the 2 holes, like the camera battery charger, but it's got the asymmetrical layout of the first weird one that I don't know what it goes to. So definitely goes in the I don't know pile with the other 2, and it's this weird mix of pretty much every type there is, which is really weird. So this thing is a USB into a beefier type B. I don't really know. It's kind of it's one of those things that plug into cameras and stuff. But this thing is a SD card reader. It's an all-in-one mini card reader. Because of the way the cable looks frayed, I don't even know if it works still. I could try later, but I don't think it works. Also, the ports in here look really grimy. Would it fit that memory card from earlier? Well, assuming that this does work, it does fit that big beefy memory card. So, without too much effort either, which is good, because that port isn't grimy, I guess. I will try this one out later, which means I'm putting it over here to see if there's anything inside that memory card. Another power cable. So this is some kind of power supply that vaguely resembles something that I would use for like guitar pedals or something, but the end of it isn't entirely correct. However, it does resemble it. It's 18 volt AC, 18 volt power supply. I've been looking for one of these for a while for something else that I have up here. So I bought this thing used from Guitar Center one time. It's a Hot One Heart Attack Nano Legacy Series amplifier head. It's 1 channel, tiny little amplifier head, if you can believe it or not, and it only takes 18 volt DC. Ooh, DC center negative. This thing is 18 volt AC. Yeah, so the ports definitely won't... Oh. Well, the port connects. It fits. I don't know if I would want to risk using it, considering that it's alternating current and not direct current like it asks for. I would hate to break this thing, considering that I bought it like months and months ago and never used it. As of right now, I am putting it in the I don't know pile, which is basically turning more and more into a power supply area. USB to Type B, nothing fancy here. Another USB A to B, another USB A to B. A strange wall charger with a flicking out 2 prongs with that weird symmetrical layout from that camera battery charger. I don't know, pile. Another power cable, which I believe makes our last power cable. So these headphones mean something very special to me. They're these tiny little Sony MDR210s. Typical audio jack with these itty bitty little headphones that just rest on your head like this. And this is something that I would listen to my MP3 player with back when I had an MP3 player as a little kid, all the time, and they fit my head very nicely, and they were really something else. There's 2 of these in here. One is this one with the less well taken care of padding on the headphones, and then this one with the slightly better taken care of padding, which seems to already be pre-wrapped. Very nice. These are really good headphones from what I remember them being, you know, but maybe that's just because I was a kid and I didn't expect much. This is an HP USB wired mouse that I have not used yet and I should use at some point. So I will put this on this side of the couch for myself. 2 wireless mouses. This one doesn't have its USB receiver inside of it, nor a battery. This one has both. Tiny little things for my big hands, especially this one. This thing is really small. So this cable is a really interesting one. The port on the ends of each of it makes it seem as though it's Ethernet. It's not. It's a phone cable. And I remember Dad used this back when he was recording webinars off of the phone line in Audacity for his work. For those who don't know, my dad's a legal transcriptionist, and he used to join webinars over the phone and record them through Audacity with this cable. There was this receiver that he got that isn't in here, might still be in the house actually, that he would connect to the phone, the landline phone basically, and he would plug this into the phone, and this would be fed through an adapter of sorts, which I believe is this thing, and this would plug into the computer, and that way he would be able to actually record the audio from the webinars, which obviously meant that none of us kids could go on the computer while he was recording, because that would just jack up the whole recording, right? And, oh wow, there's another adapter, kind of just like it. It's a little bigger and white instead of cream. And so yeah, with this, Dad basically recorded countless webinars, and that's pretty awesome. Don't know where to put it. I'm going to put it on the edge of the I don't know pile. For some reason there's a pack of dental floss in here. It's probably awful now. Oh my gosh, that was a horrible throw. Okay, so I was mistaken. This is the actual device that my dad used, because this is a telephone record adapter, model LRX37C. This plugs into the phone, this end, and he would plug this, which is a standard audio jack, into the computer. And I think maybe he used one of these adapters to do some kind of cross-feed thing with it. I don't really know, I don't remember, but that's the actual device that Dad used. These things are all pieces to the old Roku that we used to have on this TV right here that I use now, before Dad just got a smart TV, really. This was what we would watch, you know, Netflix and Hulu and stuff on. And it was really cool because you've got the Roku stick, which is HDMI. It plugs into this tiny little mini adapter, and this HDMI would plug into the TV, right? And then the power, I believe the power for the Roku? Yeah, the power for the Roku was a USB B type, and it would plug in to this thing, which is the actual Roku branded 2-prong wall plug-in power supply. So That's the little Roku kit right there. I don't know if it still works. It would be really funny to try. Pretty useless considering that I have all my logins for stuff on the PS4 already, but it's good to have. So I'll just set it there with all the USB-Cs, or not, sorry, the USB Type-Bs. This is a wall outlet to USB Type-A charging thing, I guess. It has LG on it, if that means anything. So I'm just going to put it in the I don't know pile. Blinker light for some reason. I'm going to keep that because why not? This is a weird one. This is a USB to some type of very tiny power supply. It's even tinier than that 18 volt DC or AC power supply earlier. It's really, really skinny and small. Going in the I don't know pile. Thankfully, pre-wrapped. These are 2 USB Type-Bs into 1 USB Type-A. I wonder if I could charge both PlayStation controllers with that at once. I'll try it later. And then another USB Type-A to something else that plugs into cameras, probably for data transfer instead of taking out the SD card, basically. I don't know exactly where to put this, but I'm going to put it in the I don't know pile with the similar USB cable. Unless I put that in a different pile, but I'm pretty sure I put it in this one, so. One more USB Type A to B. Super, super tiny. Check that out. So these headphones and headset mic here was the headset that I would use for high school classes. Back when I was still in high school. Took online classes a lot, right? It has this nice little control panel here. Volume up or down for your headphones. Mute button for your microphone, and a call button, like a phone button, to actually call somebody through it. There's a few kinks in the cable that makes me think it doesn't function anymore, and the headphone padding is really ratty and torn, so I honestly might just throw it away. But yeah, that's there. That's cool, I guess. Now these two things are really cool because I just bought a cassette that I could play that I could play in one of these things, I think. These things are cassette players, by the way, for those who don't know. I think they're mini cassettes or micro cassette things. Yeah, this blue one is an Olympus Pearl Recorder S702 micro cassette recorder. So with this thing, you can have a 1.2 speed or a 2.4 speed. I guess that's how you could run the cassette, depending on how it was wound, I guess. There's a pause versus off switch here that's very interestingly designed. Battery case on the back. I don't know what kind of batteries it runs on. There's a rewind switch here that's more like there's a fast forward and a rewind switch that's more like it's like a thumb switch of some kind, if you could look at that. And then of course record, play, stop, eject. If I hit stop, it'll eject and open up, and you can see inside it takes micro cassettes. And then this thing here, which has a little wristband on it, is a Sanyo Mini Talkbook TRC 3680. And it's got record, a little speaker on the record light itself, along with a battery light, I suppose. Review, stop, play, and preview. Don't know what that means really, but those are the modalities for this. Must be a rewind switch of some kind, because I pull it up to review, and then it flicks back down to stop, and I can move it to play, and then preview. And then it'll flick back to stop. Record can be on or off. It's got a REM, which is smaller than the mic input, which appears to be a standard audio jack. There's also a safety on and off switch. Now, where was that weird USB little power stick thing that had, here we are, that tiny one, remember? It's somehow too big to plug into this REM thing, so I wonder what kind of port it would take. It's kind of interesting. Oh, wait, it plugs in right here. It's a DC center positive 3 volt power supply. That's what this thing is. So this thing goes with this. That's really cool. And then there's an open switch, or no, not an open switch. You can just open it right here. Again, it also takes microcassettes. So that's really cool. And more USB type A to B. There's a lot of those, aren't there? Could have sworn I was on the last one. And then this cable, which is a USB type A to MIDI, I think. This is the same ports that plugs into my MIDI keyboard, my audio interface, which is an AudioBox USB 96, and also the white version of what goes into my Roland VR1 HD. But that only takes the blue one because that's USB 3.0. I have no idea where to place this, but I'm going to put it in with the USB-B family because I don't know what else to do with it, really. Ah, now this might be what goes into here. Yes, it does. So this is, effectively, if it's an 1/8 inch that the typical audio jack measures to, this little thing right here is basically a 1/16 inch, and it plugs into the REM of this Sanyo Mini Talkbook TRC 3680 right here. So, yeah, good to know. And then this is probably the USB receiver for that mouse that was missing its USB receiver. And then, to cap it all off, a most likely dead 9-volt battery. There is nothing else in this box except for the tail light and a lone screw, which as far as I can tell doesn't belong to anything I'm aware of. Oh, and what have we here behind the box that fell out? Another USB type A to B. What a way to end. Oh my gosh, and you won't believe it, but I put the box back where it belonged and I found underneath it yet another type A to B. I am not joking, I am not making this up. I just found it. That is wild. Okay, so in effect, there's a lot of cables here, and I don't know what to do with most of them because, you know, I don't have a use for most of them yet, and I don't know how to, well, I've sorted them, obviously, but I don't know how to make their sorting cleaner in a box, right? That being said, I just remembered that somebody emptied out this thing, this crate, with for some reason a bunch of stickers on it, and I couldn't find the lid for it, but it's empty. It's way bigger than that cardboard box, and it's not gonna fall apart because it's not cardboard. It's not ratty, it's not full of bugs, and hopefully I can keep it that way. So, I won't bore you guys with placing all the cables in whichever way I please, but I will tag on the end of this video what is possibly inside that memory card. If there's nothing, I'll just edit it and say there's nothing, but I'm eager to see what's inside that memory card, if that SD card reader thing actually still works somehow. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching my ridiculous vlog of cleaning out a cable box. I hope you, whatever young people that didn't know what most of these cables do, I hope you guys learned something. And for any older people, anyone older than me basically, if any of you guys found this remotely interesting at all, comment what your favorite cable was, I guess. That'd be cool. And yeah, that's pretty much it, so bye! So I cracked into that memory card, and I'm going to explore it. So in miscellaneous, there's nothing. In DCIM, there's Canon MSC. CTG files can't be opened, obviously. And then in these, there's 3 images and 4 images. And these images are actually me when I was a tiny little baby. That's me, little runt that I was. Look at what it's dated to, though. September 12th of 2005. That's, what's it, 6 months? Yeah, I believe 6 months after I was born. So this is like pretty ancient history, me. And then these, I think, are in the same room, just with a blanket and a big old Philips CRT monitor right there. Just a silly little guy. So my suspicions were incorrect. There was, in fact, stuff on this drive. I thought it was going to be empty, but hey, that's pretty cool.